Welcome, everyone. This is my pro-industry interview with Daniel Pazos. So would you like to share a little bit so we can show some of your beautiful work?
You can go either on maybe just the Instagram is better because I feel like the agency is a whole nother thing that's kind of set up for clients.
Gotcha.
But I am with creative management out of Miami and New York, in case anybody wants to Google the agency. It's called Creative Management. But as far as, let's go ahead and just go on the Instagram if you want.
Okay. Let me go ahead and I'm going to get up here real quick. And yeah, because that's a whole other conversation, getting in with an agency and all of that good stuff. So, okay, here we go. So we are on your page right now. And so, oh, I love this. You have like San Francisco, Spain, Curacao.
Yeah, for different jobs I've done. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. That's beautiful. So and it makes it super fun. And so do you want to share a little bit about kind of what you like to post?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite is beauty, obviously. I think like a lot of the images in my book, that like, even if you want to post that right there, yeah, there you go. That picture, right? We can start with that picture. So this was shot in LA. And can we see the photographer? I think this says the photographer on the side. Can we see the post? Jen Collins. I think Jen Collins is the photographer that I worked with.
That's Jen Collins, yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's an up-and-coming beauty photographer that she actually lives in San Francisco, but she works a lot in Los Angeles. If you ever get to test with her, I mean, she's amazing. We only worked together one time, but I got some beautiful images from her with this beautiful girl that you see right there in front of you. Yeah. And this was a shoot where we wanted to emphasize color theory and just use colors that obviously correlate with the person's eye color, and skin color. We wanted to use like fiery reds and oranges and yellows to bring out her eyes. And so this is an example of like a beauty that I love that I did. And there was a separate hairstylist. The hairstylist work didn't feature as well because everything was so close up. Sometimes that happens, but it ended up working for me for makeup. So yeah, and this is something that I did in LA for my portfolio. Nobody paid for my flight. I paid for my flight to go to LA, and that's the thing that sometimes you have to do in this business to build your book. And even the people that have been doing this for like ages, that have done the cover of, Vogue and all that kind of stuff, they will still do something for their portfolio like this, a whole team for free, take a whole day and do this, because not only is it what we love doing, but this is what's going to get us work also. So I've booked clients from stuff like this who look at the skin and said, you know what, I booked you on this because I saw how well you do skin. Not even just the amazing color story going on. It wasn't even just for that. I mean, I've obviously had compliments for that as well. And there's different people that will take notice of that. Maybe more my peers and people that are maybe looking for that exact thing. Like let's say a cosmetic company or something, a cosmetic brand, if they're going to consider hiring me for something. But in this particular instance, the first thing that a client will look at is the skin.
There you are.
Yeah, sorry about that. The battery is getting a little low on this thing. I'm going to see if I can plug it back in. Sorry.
Sure. Well, this is gorgeous. I love this. And that is one of the things I think as a makeup artist, wanting to do such fun projects and different projects, they're not paid projects. They're like you said, they're projects that you are collabing with a photographer and a hairstylist, and, maybe a designer, and they're projects that you are doing for you. But do you want to share a little bit about how you came up with the concept, or was it already a concept that they had created?
We wanted to do looks that kind of were color inspired, I'd say. You know, there was some color theory involved, but I would say we wanted to do nothing too edgy, too strong, just to focus on color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can, if we scroll on the Instagram, I might be able to show you like maybe a couple other images from this exact same shoots. If you want to go down, I know there's a lot of images, so.
Is there this one here?
So you can go down. No, you can go down for a while. Yeah, you can keep going down for a while because this is from a while back.
Okay.
But I'll show you. Another one.
You just tell me when.
Yeah, no, you can keep going. You can keep
okay.
going. And that's good because they can see the other stuff too while you're doing that.
Yes. And I have to say, that's like all women.
Yeah, only a few guys here and there. I work on mostly women. I mean, I do. Right, but there's another one with a different makeup. That's just the same makeup but flipped. So there's another one that has. Yeah, you got to keep going. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I do grooming on guys too, but because I don't do them as often, I don't always post them. I post more. Oh, you know what? So go up. You went too far. I think you went too far. Yeah, because that was the original. That's the original post right there. Yeah, that was the original post. That's the literal behind the scenes of the makeup. So you can see how it's not very different. Obviously, they're retouching sometimes, but look at her skin. I mean, the girls had it was just a pleasure to work on skin like that as a makeup artist, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And, you can tell the colors. I mean, it was great. But, yeah, so let's go a little above this now, and I think there's going to be another image with blue, which I got a lot of likes on Instagram. There we go. You just hit it. Yep. Here we go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So, obviously, there was color theory used in here as well. If you can tell, I used a little bit of a lighter blue and then a gold. And then the deeper, I guess more of like that royal blue to create the shape in the eye. So this was just with Jen Collins as well on the same shoots. And the hairstylist here was Ashley H., which is a phenomenal hairstylist that's based in LA. She was the hairstylist that day. And yeah, so we just had fun. It was kind of like a free-for-all, There was a couple other looks that were done that probably didn't make the cut. There was a green look that I kind of didn't, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I just didn't love it. I thought these were stronger. And then there's one next to it that's a little bit more pink. I don't know if you want to show that.
This one here?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then, yeah, here her hair showed a lot more. You could see the beautiful job she did on hair. That's Ashley H's hair. And then the whole point of this one was just like a pastel mauve, pastel pink, on the lips and on the eyes, which complemented her. And that was the first look. So we went from this to all, the other looks that we did.
Gotcha.
But I get work from this image.
I'm sure.
So
now, I have a question for you from a technique standpoint. Did you build upon this look to create the other ones, or did you remove and start new?
Okay, so when you're using more exact colors, where you really want the saturation of that particular color to stand out, you're better off by removing what you did and then putting a different color on. And I tell you that because when you zoom in on beauty, you always see remnants of something else left over. So if you want to avoid that and you want your makeup to look like a clean beginning to end that you did in each image, you want to definitely remove as much as you can and then build the color back over it that you're trying to show. So that was really important in this, because if I wouldn't have done that, I've done that where I build in other situations, but there are situations where it really matters that you're taking off, because you're either going to show a whole new texture on the eye or on the lips or on the face or whatever it is that you're doing, or the color itself has to look fresh and not look like you're showing another remnants of something else that you did. So it's really important. So
great feedback. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so and
that's the same image there, the one with the eyes closed. That's the same makeup, but she just has her eyes closed with the lips, the orange and the Yeah, but I love that beauty story. I think that was an awesome beauty story.
It really is. And
It wasn't published. It wasn't published, but it's still great. I mean, I've gotten work from it. So that's the thing. Your work doesn't always have to be published either. If it's something that you believe in and it's masterfully done by a team, by the team, you should definitely use it in your book. It doesn't have to always be published.
Mm-hmm.
So
fantastic. And when did you do that? How long ago was that?
Oh, that was at least 4 years ago now.
Okay. And so you're still using it too. Like you know, you have that content to continue to. Great. Okay, so we were going to go up to, there was one that you and I had, is that the same girl there too? Or
no, that's a different girl.
That's this girl. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same, right. That's the same girl. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. There was the one that we were talking about before that you were going to share. This is so much fun talking to you. Oh my gosh. And I was looking at your site while we were getting ready for this, and you had one that had these glasses that was phenomenal. I don't know if you remember that shot, but okay. So huh?
On the site, you said there was something on the site?
Yeah, on the drip book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to go to the?
No, I want to. Yeah, let's talk about this one. I just wanted to tell you. So you were going to tell us about this project that you did here, and this was for Glamour.
So this is for Glamour Bulgaria. It was shot in Miami. It was for Glamour Bulgaria. We did this editorial. Oh my God, back maybe. It got published in April of 2020, and I think we might have done it like 5 months before, like 4 or 5 months before we all worked on it. And this girl is amazing girl that happened to be in Miami. She signed with Elite in Miami, but she's really a New York girl. She's European. We were lucky to get her. I mean, she's like 5'11". She's the perfect example of a fashion model. Yeah. She is a fashion model. And what's interesting about this was that, I mean, I love this image. I love the direction that it went in. But when we first started the shoots, we did maybe 3 or 4 shots at this location. We were working on this wall. You can't see the wall here, obviously. It's different. We ended up putting fabric behind her for this. But we were working on a really cool wall that had like a really cool trim, and it had like white going along the trim, and it's an haute couture. Oscar, I believe the name of the store is Oscar Caravallo Paris, something like that. Okay. And he's a Miami designer, and he's amazing. He does like these amazing couture gowns and dresses, and she was wearing some of them, but we had the hair down. We had kind of like this, almost like a wet look, but it wasn't wet. It was done with, products like hairspray. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do the hair. I did the makeup for this shoot. And then a friend of mine, Autumn Suna, she did the hair. She did a great job. We started out with this hair down and with some of the dresses, but then it started looking like a lookbook. And a lookbook is something that a client does to sell their clothing, like for let's say that season, the dresses that are going to be coming out or whatever, or the clothes that are going to be coming out. They do something where the model kind of just stands there the whole time, mm-hmm. in the same spot. Does a little bit of a difference, but basically she's in the same spot, and you keep shooting over and over with different clothes. So there was not really a feeling, it was kind of just like, this is starting to feel like a lookbook. So we already did like 4 shots doing this, and we all looked at each other and we said, this isn't working. We need to change something. So that's when we had another makeup inspiration, another idea from Fashion Week in Europe. And there was something similar where there was a powdery blue shadow on the girl's eye and a winged liner. But of course, everybody's eye shape is different, so you have to taper the makeup to the person's eye shape. So I did the makeup according to her. In the other model, they had put the original inspiration that we were looking at. They had put that thing, like the thing that stretches the eyes back, that kind of lifts them. Mm-hmm. Camera. For some reason, I'm having a blank on the name of it.
Yeah, they're called wings, I think, that you tape them back, like the little tape.
Right. So the original inspiration, the girl had more of a cat-eyed look anyway than our model, and So they had that on her, which made it even more extreme. And they just did like this really, like a lot more extreme liner, which is beautiful, but it only would have worked if you would have had that stuff on her face, you know? So I didn't have that. So I wanted to work within the dimension or the, you know, the shape and the size of her eye. So I was very careful. Once I put the blue base on and the blue shadow that I used, I was really careful to just draw the right shape of cat eye. There's another shot in here that shows the makeup as well, if you want to go to it. I think it's next to it. So you can kind of look at the makeup, and I'm proud to say the makeup wasn't retouched at all. You can look at this one right here if you want. Yeah, either that one or the one where she's next to it in the clothes. This one right here. Yeah, right there. There you go. And if you zoom in, I mean, I tried to do as best as I could with the liner.
I don't think I can.
Oh, you can't zoom in. I'm sorry. So let's go back to the one that you did go to. Okay, here we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is a great beauty shot anyway. So that
Beautiful.
works. Yeah. So you know, as far as I can see, the most of the makeup is intact. It wasn't retouched. I mean, I know I took a lot of precision to do that liner. So yeah. So and that's the funny thing. It's like you think that you're doing something really, really extreme, because when I applied it on her and you looked at it, it looked super extreme. But then you see it in the photograph, and it looks like just a really, really well done wing. But it's not super. It's not super crazy. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Another fun thing is that I made her super white. She was tan. So yeah, she had her, you know, her face was a little lighter than her body, but she still had a golden undertone. So I had to like pack on a lot of porcelain foundation and make her look glowy, because we wanted to make her look super, super porcelain. So that was fun to do for this particular editorial as well.
That is great. Now, one thing I notice on here, because now I love period work. That's like my thing. I love it. I love the very, like, that is a very 1960s kind of robin's egg blue that is, and a matte as well. And I love how you incorporate, and I'm assuming you know, but of course this is my interpretation of looking at your work. I love how you incorporate like that feel of vintage with, it looks like she has no lashes, like no false lashes on, and then that very modern brow.
Right. So I did take I did make the effort to really groom the brows. She had a product in them to really groom them and make them stand out like that. And then as far as I'm sorry, what else did you say about it that you liked? Oh yeah, you're correct. She had no lashes. You're absolutely correct. She did have mascara on, but no lashes. Because if you see how small her eye shape is, it's not totally small, but if I would have put lashes on her, it would have taken away from the shape of what we did with the blue, and it would have taken away the liner. So when you want those accent things to stand out in your makeup, you have to keep in mind that sometimes lashes work against you, and they close the eye. Actually, they take away from the work that you put in. Even though they might look sexy and glamorous and all that, they don't always work for editorial makeup.
I love that. I love that. This is such great information, because, you know, lashes, everybody's got like whoosh, crazy lashes on.
Right. And I love lashes. Don't get me wrong. I love lashes for the right type of makeup. I think that they're a booster. They make a difference. But the precision about when you decide to put the, you know, like the knowledge of when to put them on and how to put them on, and in the corner, or what, you know, if you're going to cut them and put like three different pieces and make them look cohesive, or do individuals versus a strip, all that stuff matters when you're executing a makeup. So you have to really pay attention to that and say, you know, what is it that I'm trying to do here with her eyes? Do I want to make her eyes look bigger? You know, every makeup is different, and you really should pay attention to what the lashes are doing to your makeup once you put them on. You have to think about that.
Yes, I agree. And that's, I think, the beauty of your work, that you have such an eye for detail and precision, that's what makes you so, you know, so great.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
I do. And I love seeing your posts. I mean, there's just, and what I love about your work is that you have so many different, I can't look at something and go, Daniel did that, you know? Like, you know how just sometimes like they're just kind of pigeonholed with the same look. You have a very, you know, a huge variety. I do see like, definitely I would say maybe skin is probably a bit
Yeah,
of
I would agree with that. I would say that too. Yeah, I loved the skin to look luminous and glowy, and that was before Instagram made it cool.
yeah.
I always loved that. You know, that was just my thing. And people would always comment when I would do the makeup. They would always be like, "Does she have foundation on?" Like some of the photographers that were used to working with other makeup artists that would put so much on. And I remember when I first started testing, they were like, "Does she have foundation on?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they would kind of like stare at her, like to make sure like I was telling the truth, because the skin looked so natural that it's like it was so funny. And I remember like thinking like that. Why do they keep asking me that? And then I realized that everybody else that they were working with was putting the makeup on so heavy or so much foundation that they were just like shocked that I was able to do it and not put so much on.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
And you can definitely see that. And that is not, again, you know, like you said, it's so funny that, you know, of course, like Kim Kardashian kind of like brought highlight and contour to the mainstream, but that has existed forever, highlighting and contouring
forever.
as a makeup artist.
What I feel, and not at all knocking it at all or anything, because every makeup style has a place in our universe and everything. But what we're seeing is either theatrical techniques that have been around for years being brought into the mainstream, and also drag makeup, which should be celebrated as well. I think drag makeup is some of the most beautiful makeup. You know, it's amazing. It's imaginative. You know, it's creative. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what we're seeing is a lot of like the tricks and tips that drag queens got from theater. Because I think it started out in theater first, and then a lot of drag queens made it their own, and then now we've seen it become, come to life in everyday makeup, in glamorous makeup. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's really cool. It's interesting how all that transpires.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, it's funny a lot of times, because you see what I see at least is, when you learn, a lot of, younger aspiring artists, they can't see the subtlety yet. So it's a lot of product, a lot of shimmer, a lot.
Yeah.
And you want to use that technique and take it to where you're at. That's what is masterful to me. Being able, like, even as simple as this shot here. I mean, I think that's just gorgeous. It's a look like, it looks like she has nothing on. I mean, you can still see the subtlety of the skin itself, but you have contour, highlight.
Yeah, she has all that. She has all that. It's just done in a certain way where I didn't want it to look like a glam beat. I wanted it to look like a softer editorial. Like I'm telling a story with her face versus I'm just gonna beat her for the nightclub. You know what I mean? So which is nothing wrong with that too. I love all that too, but there's a time and place for it.
Yes. And what is so interesting, and maybe you can share with me a little bit here, I love, is that you have, like, if you were to separate from the neck up and then from the neck down, you have this, pointy, cyber boob, athleisure wear kind of outfit.
And that's exactly what it was called, editorial. It's funny that you said that. It was athleisure. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one for Elle, Serbia. Yeah, and I didn't do the hair. There was a phenomenal hair artist on this shoot that did such an amazing job with the hair.
Oh yeah.
I did the makeup. But and again, the photographer, basically his instruction was, we ended up doing a little bit more of a graphic eye, which it's up to you if you want to show that image as well for later on.
Okay.
But his direction was, I want her super dewy, super glowy, but it's going to be on the beach and she's going to be exercising. So the makeup can't be overly done or too much. And I didn't want to do too much of a wing on her either. I did a soft wing. You probably can't see it here, but I did a little bit of a red coppery wing, but I still kept it kept it kind of muted. I didn't want to take away. I didn't want it to like, with all the shapes and all the things going on, I felt, and such strong hair, I didn't want to like make it look overworked and complicated.
And strong brow.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't, I chose to kind of keep it glowy and beautiful, but not overly done.
I love that. Beautiful. So yes, so there's so much that goes into each image and the thought process. Would you say that does it happen more organically while you're working, or do you create a mood board, or or does it depend on the project?
Okay, so when I do a beauty shoot, there's always a mood board, or even an editorial. Everything I do, there's always a mood board. Somebody sets out a mood board. Either it's me, the photographer, the wardrobe stylist, whoever comes up with it in the first place. We get together, sometimes you have a say in the mood board. Sometimes you have no say whatsoever. You have to follow their thing, what they want. For editorials and things like that, or for a client even on a job, they'll have a mood board and you have to follow that mood board. So I don't always have a say. I could say what I want to say, but it doesn't mean that, what I want is going to be always what's listened to. But in a lot of the beauty things I do, I have a big say. I would say that for a lot of the beauty, not always the editorials, but for the beauty, I have a big say because I'm usually the one that comes to them with an idea, and then we kind of shoot it. So I would say I have a say for the beauty stuff.
That's great. Cool. So I wanted to just kind of finish off with, what would you share with someone getting into the business that wanted to, what advice do you have for somebody that wants to get into the business and do what you do?
Okay, so my advice would be start as early as possible. Don't wait because, the reality is that we're all getting older. We all, seize the opportunity. Start, the younger you are, the better. That's what I would tell my younger self. I would say really focus on what you want to do. Be realistic about what it takes to do what you want to do. If you need to move and be in a different city to do like big fashion work and editorial work and all that, or theater, whatever it is that you want to pursue, you should make the effort to move there and to go after that. That's really what you want to do. If you're comfortable just, doing weddings and just in your community and where you live and all that, then that's fine. But be aware that you're probably not going to get to that next level unless you make some sacrifices and you go after it. So you have to just definitely be knowledgeable about where you want to be in this business. Am I living in the right place? So what is it exactly that I want to go after? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? This is a journey, not a destination, I feel, in this business. So that's really important. And assist other people. And be open to learning. Definitely don't come in with the attitude that you know it all, because you're going to be shown that you don't right away. Especially when it goes to working on a set. Working on a set for a client is completely different than just doing makeup for whoever. You know what I mean? Or you have to respect the business and respect the process. So my advice would be definitely to assist, definitely to start. The sooner the better. Reach out to modeling agencies if you haven't done that already, and tell them that you want to test. And it's normal not to get paid right away. So don't think that you're entitled or that you're privileged to get paid right away, because they don't have to pay you. You're the one that needs them more than they need you. You're the one that's trying to get in. So unfortunately, that's how the fashion business works. Some people right there, they're going to be like, you know what, then screw that. I'm not going to do this. Okay, fine. But the reality is, a lot of people that work in the fashion industry, we do a lot of things for free because we want our names published and we want to get press our whatever way we can. We want to get, we're hungry, starving artists, and we want to feed our soul. And they know that.
Well, they know that, and it's about relationships, don't you think?
Oh, for sure,
It's
yeah.
it's getting to know those people that have already put in the time
Yeah.
and the
I
money.
mean,
And
the amount of time, I'll just give you, okay, so like the amount, because I know we're kind of recapping for now, but for me, the amount of time that I spent working on a book before I got with an agency was a good, really like 10 years, you know, before I got signed to an agency. So
wow.
I put in 10 years of hardcore getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. to go to the beach to do some, you know what? And I would do all these photo shoots, and sometimes I got paid, sometimes I didn't in the very beginning, but you know what? I was so passionate. And then I would have friends that would say, how did you do that? How, you know, like other makeup artists that I knew for a long time that I started out, let's say, working in retail with, and they would be like, how did you get with an agency? How do you have, and I go, well, I have a book. I spent time, you know, doing a book. And that's why I was able to get into an agency board and have clients book me based on the work that I did, because I put the effort into it. You can't expect to get the jobs that another person's getting that because you just like what, you know, you just like it. No, you got to put the effort into it. So, I mean, that's what I had to do. And that's, you know, I mean, I mean, it was blood, you know, blood, sweat, and tears for like 10 years of, you know, and then those images didn't come like from one day to the next. No, it was a lot of work, and it's still a lot of work. I'm not done, you know.
Well, don't you think that with, like you were saying, I mean, granted, your work is very timeless. So you're able to use those pictures from 4 years ago and still post them.
Yeah,
They're relevant. But how
yeah,
often does that happen? A lot of times in fashion,
right. And that's
right?
correct, and that's because it's really important, like what photographers you work with, to that when you make something look period, it's still a modern take on something period, where somebody could just be like, wow, that's really cool. It doesn't really look like it's just from that era, or it's, you know, it's got to be cool. So, you know, you got to, like, you know, pay attention to the people that you work with to see if they have the same vision as you. And that takes time. It's not going to be overnight. It takes time. And then, like, you know, once you build a relationship, like you said, I work with certain photographers, and then I know I can go to them for this. And then there might be a photographer that I think I can work with to capture this idea more. So it all, you know, it's all relevant to your process, to the process, and working and, you know, getting things done.
That's amazing. You are a wealth of knowledge. A wealth of knowledge, and very, very generous with, you know, like sharing, and you know, you're just kind. You really are, Daniel. So it's been such an honor and a pleasure to be able to interview you and have you as my guest.
Thank you
And
so much.
so appreciate it. Yes. Thank you.